Well, let's talk skin. You were saying that skin type
Mhm.
isn't necessarily oily, dry in the aesthetics world.
Yeah.
Um,
Break that down.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. So in our terminology, skin types, we often refer to as there's what's called a Fitzpatrick skin scale. And so what that all includes is a questionnaire of, how, we'll start with your eye color, for example. Eye color, um, your ethnicity, your hair color, how easily do you burn, how easily do you tan, so on and so forth. And so we take all of that and put it into this little questionnaire, which is numerical. And so let's say somebody tests out, I'm not going to remember all the numbers
Mm-hmm.
exactly. Let's just say they're 34. They are a skin type 6, which would be someone of Black descent. Skin types 5s are going to be like, darker Hispanics, Indian background, so on and so forth. So it's very important to ask the ethnicity because, for example, my mom is Hispanic, so she has dark hair, dark eyes. She's very fair, though, compared to myself. She tans well, though, but looking at her, you would probably classify her as a skin type 3, but she is a skin type 4. Myself, I fall into the skin type 5 range.
Okay, that's so interesting because, you know, we I guess in a society, it's like, well, we can't talk about skin color. It's like, well, we are going to talk
We
about
have
levels
to,
of
yeah.
melanin. um, and for that, let's talk Black skin.
Mhm.
And I know that you've had clients that maybe have had experiences elsewhere that
Mhm.
weren't, um, I guess, yeah, as savory.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, so when it comes to Black skin, and I definitely growing up and working within a military town, quote unquote, I've worked with every ethnicity, you name it. And so working with Black skin, there are things that we are more prone to. For example, we might be more prone to post inflammatory hyperpigmentation. So if you get a breakout, oftentimes what comes with that breakout is sometimes weeks of like this, like the pimple's gone, but now we have this dark spot, and so that's where all of the melanin has just grouped up basically in that one spot because it's trying to heal, but we have all of that melanin that's right there. So there are certain products and regimens that we will use for darker skin types, but I don't want to make it sound too, because I have seen like, and I might get some flack for this, but like I have seen products over the years come out that are like specifically for Black skin, and I think personally that that's a sales pitch. Like I think that there are great ingredients for darker skin types that are dealing with certain issues, but that doesn't mean that someone of, an Irish background ethnicity also doesn't deal with those same issues. So there's that. And then when it comes to like treatments and lasers that produce heat within the skin or inflammation in the skin, erythema and edema. So erythema would be redness, edema is swelling. When we deal with those treatments, Black skin does not react the same. Like when a person of Irish descent gets hit with a laser, they turn red. We can automatically see like, oh, okay, this is working. Like, and we know whether or not to adjust it down. Whereas with darker skin, you don't necessarily see that so much. So we hold heat longer in the skin, which means that you can do a treatment of a laser treatment, let's say, on a Black person and think everything's all fine and dandy, and then 48 hours their skin's blistering. 48 hours later their skin is blistering. So it's just very important to have that knowledge of how heat reacts within the skin, and also your settings of the laser, and really understanding the science, because when we look at a laser screen, there's all of these different numbers, And what they all mean is like the speed that the laser is penetrating into the skin, or and then the heat, we could call it, or the energy, but like how hot it is, and then how fast we're doing it. You know, are we allowing time for the lasers cooling system to work in? um so yeah, that's why I love our laser. That's safe for all skin types and tones, but it's very um, unique and intelligent to be able to safely and effectively treat darker skin types.
Mm. That is so important because I know that can be an insecurity.
Oh, for sure.
People not feeling safe,
Mm-hmm.
or having previous bad experiences.
Yeah.
So, what are the types of things that you kind of talk your clients through that have maybe been through an unsafe or a bad
Mm-hmm.
experience?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is explaining. Like, I literally will show them the screen and explain what each number means and how it's working within the skin and what the laser's doing. So, for example, you come in for laser hair removal and you've had a bad experience elsewhere, it's important to acknowledge that bad experience. For example, I remember I was doing laser hair removal on a skin type 6, a black woman, and we were doing her underarms and she took off her cardigan, and I noticed she had like this white spot on her arm that, yeah, it was just very disformed, and there was kind of like pink and blue in it. And I had seen that she had laser done previously, so I was like, so where, did you have laser done? And she was like, well, I'm getting laser tattoo removal on my arm. And I was just like, they have hypopigmented you because they used such a high setting where they pulled out her actual skin pigment. And when that happens, there's no going back. Like, unfortunately, when I told her that, she's like, well, they told me that it would come back in 6 months. And I was like, no, like, that's not going to happen. I mean, it was so wild of how high of a setting that they had used, where you could still see literally this. I mean, it's like engraved in my head still. You could see this white skin, this white patch on this person's arm with like pink and blue still engraved in it. Like, they pulled more of her pigment of her skin than they actually did the tattoo. So, I explained to her how the laser works, and that's just it, is that yes, lasers are becoming more safe for darker skins. All of the ones that I've ever worked with have always been safe for all skin types, meaning all skin tones. But how that laser energy works is it's attracted to pigment. So the perfect ideal person for laser is somebody like my mom, or somebody even more fair, who has very fair skin and dark hair, because there's that contrast. So, I mean, you could really boost up the setting, pull their dark hair, and leave the surrounding white skin unbothered, right? Whereas when we're working with darker skin, it's attracted to both. So you have to go in slower, which is a setting on the laser. So when I kind of explain it to people, like when I use it on a white person, the laser literally goes in like that. Whereas with a black person, it's like two, 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 two. Like, it's a softer touch. And so when you're dealing with a softer touch, yes, sometimes it does take more treatments because we're not pulling it as drastically, but we're also keeping your skin safe. So that's just kind of the main basis. But of course, like, the speed of how fast the laser's firing versus, and then also the cooling aspect is a big important part as well.